Mystery Road is a 2013 crime thriller directed by Ivan Sen and produced by Bunya Productions and Screen Australia. The film follows Jay Swan,
Hey, cuz.
an Indigenous cowboy detective, becomes entangled in the murder of a local Aboriginal teen as he discovers the true nature of the case and a link with his daughter. Mystery Road's structure is linear and simple for a crime thriller. In the first act, we are introduced to Jay the protagonist and the main plot of the murder case, as well as the side characters and side plots like the relationship between Jay's co-worker and boss, Jay's indigenous community, and his ex-wife and daughter. The second act further develops the relationships between the main and side characters, as well as introducing new characters as suspects and developing a new side plot line with one of the cops being corrupt. By the end of the second act, the suspension reaches a bottleneck as various threats loom above Jay and plot twists are revealed with the suspects. Right before a forced confrontation, the third act, which ends in a large climactic shootout with one final twist and a satisfying resolution to the case, but also leaving the audience on a cliffhanger for the final shot. Jay's character is that of a loner, someone to who his co-workers is a stranger and to his own indigenous community a sellout.
Couples, brah. Me too, couples, brah.
Every conversation he has is brief and vague, which turns to aggression through passive hostility, vague threats, and even physical attacks towards the later sections of the film. And no scene demonstrates this fact better than the scene where Jay is pulled over by his co-worker Jono. Instantly, upon looking at the scene, you are struck with the incredible lighting with the multichromatic sunset, blocked in by dark clouds and patches of land. It makes the whole situation feel more covert and dangerous than if it was set in broad daylight. As Jay attempts to leave the area, the camera is in a close-up on his face while also leaving just enough view to show the headlights of a car following him. This communicates to the viewer just how much danger he is in and braces them for the following encounter. The true horror of the scene begins when Jono steps out of his vehicle and begins a grueling conversation with Jay.
Jay boy.
Hey, Jono.
What you doing out here in the middle of the night?
Oh, you know, working late.
Back and forth editing with close-ups on both faces sells the opposing figures as their conversation continues, interluded with mid-shots of his partner next to the car, which makes it seem like they could spring at any time. Aaron Peterson and Hugo Weaving absolutely sell the tension in between them with small notions of violence and vague threats, such as when Officer Jono asks Jay whether or not he has a gun, or if he's good with it.
Yeah. Can I ask you something, Jay boy, eh? You know, from one cop to another. You ever kill anyone?
Come on, Jono.
No, I mean by accident.
Sounds like you're the one who needs a break.
No, seriously, Jay boy. Would you tell anyone? Yeah, if you did? I mean, if you could get away with it, would you tell anyone?
Is there something you want to tell me, Jono?
I'm just fucking with you, Jay boy. I'm just fucking with you.
The tension is built up all this way, but then is instantly cut off with a static laugh from Jono, de-escalating the situation and allowing Jay to leave.
Yeah, well, I better get home to sleep.
Yeah, good idea, Jay. Good idea. Hey, maybe we could go out for a feed sometime, have a bit of a yarn. Bit of a yarn.
Yeah, maybe.
No worries. Good night, Jay boy.
But the one aspect that stands out to me the most is that there is no music at all. In this scene, they could have easily had some diegetic song play on the radio to act as audible filler, or to have lyrics match the scenario. They could have also had some non-diegetic stings play to artificially build up tension, but the choice to have no music makes it feel infinitely more tense, and makes the world feel real. This fact stays true throughout almost the entire film, and really does sell the isolation of Jay. First released locally in the Sydney Film Festival on June 5, 2013, Mystery Road was praised by most critics but received mixed reviews from audiences. To add on to these mixed feelings from Australians, the international release on October 17th only resulted in $280,000 in the international box office and $416,000 in the local box office, resulting in a total gross of $696,000. When compared to the $2 million budget of the film, the gross income only covers 34.8% of the film's budget, which is definitely a financial failure. A large issue looking at the reviews is the blend of art house style with mainstream appeal that didn't really sit well with audiences. Another reason that I believe Mystery Road failed was due to the international audiences not relating to the characters and environment because of how much they reflected the problems in rural Aussie communities. As for the local side of it, the apology from Prime Minister Kevin Rudd was 5 years before this film's release, enough time for Indigenous politics to fall from the zeitgeist. Therefore, I believe, if this film was released years earlier, while Aboriginal communities were in the spotlight, this film would have made much more money locally. Despite all the negative reviews, being shown off early in a film festival should have allowed educated and experienced critics and people studying film to decipher meaning and to develop praise for everyone else to hear months before the wide release. As an Australian moviegoer myself, my focus and takeaway from the film was more focused towards the depiction of struggling local communities and the rot seen in groups of young teens and young adults. That's why I find the character of Jay so interesting. Despite this character being made to reflect the struggles of Indigenous people more, I am more drawn towards his complete loneliness and inability to fit into any community, as many people in today's society might relate to. While base inspirations for this film lie in other films like No Country for Old Men, a massive bulk of the film's themes and existence is owed to director Ivan Sen's own life experiences and the social impacts in his communities. The main portrayal of Indigenous communities in this film comes from Ivan Sen's own experience, as he lived in those rural Indigenous communities. Aaron Peterson's character takes on the main stereotype of the black tracker, charged by Ivan's direction with the Western gunslinger aspects and an isolated, lonely character. The conflict between rural communities due to the ignorance of law enforcement and not acting on Indigenous murder cases is one that is extremely personal to Ivan and the catalyst for this entire film. 3 of Ivan's female relatives were murder victims, all unsolved by local law enforcement. One of them in particular was found under a roadway, extremely similar to the death that started the entire film in the first place. In Ivan's own words, all of the details come from reality, and reality is much darker than what is relayed in the film.